morning and welcome to the Retirement Railroad 2.0 Workbench Wednesday, episode 57. I'm Steve, and today we're gonna work on one of my favorite types of locomotives, or the favorite type of locomotive, an E unit, an E8 to be specific, and we are going to be installing a Tsunami2 decoder, a pair of, meaning front and rear, scale sound speakers, a Keep Alive PX108-2, and some LEDs, warm 5mm LEDs, probably three total, one for the Mars light, one for the headlight, and one for the cab light. There really isn't a rear light on these E units. There's a window, but it's not really a rear light, so we're going to pass, at least on these. So we're going to pass on that, and let's take a look at what we got. And there we have our Proto 2000 E8. Now this one I acquired when Container Man 68, Mr. Roy Hardwick, and I went up to Claude, the Cowboy and Timberline in Tulsa's layout. He is moving it from one room to another, or actually dismantling one and rebuilding a new one in a different room. And he was selling off some of his stuff, and I did not believe he would have anything that would interest me, but I was wrong once again. And I told him, well, really the only thing I'd be interested in is CD&Q and or Burlington. And he says, well, I've got some of that. And I said, well, I've got just everything I need in that, except for F7 graybacks, or F3 graybacks, excuse me. And that's exactly what he had. All right, so he had the F7A, all right, and B units, Stewart Hobbies. And so in a future episodes, we'll be installing some Tsunami2s in those as well. But he gave me a great price on those. He said, hey, I'm going to throw in something for free, and that was this E-unit. And there's a couple of things missing on it. As you notice, the door, that side door is not there, and the front is not on. But he did have the parts. All right, so we will be installing those as well. And so with that, part one, we are gonna take it apart. We are gonna strip it down all the way to the frame, because we're gonna add direct wired pickups. These typically have the left side power, track power coming through the frame, which is not exactly reliable. So we're gonna wire in both to the right and left sides of both trucks, power pickups that will go directly to the decoder. So the first thing we do is on these is simply pry them apart gently, and you can see the side etched metal is coming off, so we're going to have to put some tacky glue on that. That has to do with the difference in expansion and contraction between etched metal and plastic. Anyway, simply separate the frame, pull that off. The last step will be working on this frame and getting it back in shape. All right, so here we go. We've got that. So we've got to take off this light board. All right, and it's already loose. And we got to take off these incandescent bulbs. And then we have to find places for these speakers and all this stuff to sit. Now, what I normally have done in the past on others is this area where the light board is back here. I simply take some plastic, some styrene, and make a deck so that the decoder can sit on that deck. Now, one of the things we're gonna do, since we have so much to add to this, we've got rear speakers, we got front speakers, we have to probably do some milling out of this frame, this big weight on here. We may take out the interior so that we can fit, or at least modify that to a certain degree, and go from there. So let's get all of our little tools out here, shall we? I've got my little Phillips and a little standard. Okay, so let's start taking this thing apart. Let's loosen up this weight. Size. This is for better safe than sorry. These frames are coated in a non-conductive paint, but better safe than sorry. But if you pull off one or both of these covers and then slip the worm gear and assembly back in, then drop the worm gear back in its housing, it's a lot faster. But I mean, it's a lot easier. It can be faster. But I chose not to do that. I should have done it. Alright, so I press fit the motor back in. Looks good. Yes. Alright, so it's back in place. So these leads will have to go back up through here.
He's out here, I'm sure.
I am.
Your daddy's out there, you hear him?
Okay, so I've gotten the decoder out, and let's do some test fitting here. If the weight goes back on, and like I say, it's just test fitted, it's not anchored down or anything, just checking on spaces. I pull the incandescent bulbs out of the nose and have the top one fitted, dry fitted up there, just for giggles. And this would go there. The rear scale sound system speaker goes there. The front goes either way, that way or that way. So we'll put it there. Alright. Then I'm going to cut a piece of styrene, real thin styrene. I think it's 0.20, 0.02, something like that. It's thin. Alright, and that will go right on this section just to make sure the decoder doesn't get down into that gear. Then the last thing we have to worry about is where to put the keep alive, alright, which is over here. And I think what we're going to end up doing is cutting away this section here so that the keep alive will sit where that is now. So that's the game plan, and it doesn't look like I'm going to have to mill anything out, but I'm gonna go ahead and deepen these grooves for the wiring, because we're going to have 3 lights coming back through here, plus the power pickups. Power pickups are going to have to come through there, motor leads, etc. So we're going to make more room for those. So hang tight, let me get the old Dremel out and we'll get after it. Alrighty, so as you can tell, I have the platform in place, screwed down, test fitted everything. Rear speaker fits right there. Alright, front speaker fits right here. Have all 3 lights in place. You can see where I have milled out the channel and put a little downgrade right there for the wiring. And the next thing to do is get this situated down. I also did some milling out inside the shell that's stuck. There's a piece that's stuck down under the weather hatch, which is this piece here. Alright. So I'm now ready to begin the wiring phase. The keep alive will go right here, and everything looks like it will fit just fine. So I gotta double side tape this down, double side tape that down, and then I can get to the wiring. And stay tuned, and we'll be right back. All right, so we have the power pickups on both trucks wired in. We have the decoder mounted, the keep alive mounted. We have the motor wired in. I've taken it over to the track, and it does have motor control, front and rear. So now we have the speakers and the lights to do. So we will do, oh, let me mention something. You see the black to the red and the red to the blue? It's because the Pro 2000 has the red lead going to the left rail and the blue lead going to the right rail. Well, the decoder says the red goes to the right rail. So we wired in red from the decoder to the blues, or the right rail, okay? And conversely, the reds from the rail to the black. And just in case somebody picked up on that, all right? Next thing you do is wire in these three lights, and then we'll get the sound wired in, and then we'll get it all programmed up. Stay tuned. All right, so it's all wired up, as you can see. Now we got to do some wire management and do some fixes on the shell before we button it up and run her on the layout. So one note is that the motor control wires were reversed, or the pickups, one or the other. Not a problem. In the decoder itself, you can change the normal direction, and the only thing that matters is so that you coordinate the headlight to be on when you're going forward. Okay. I programmed the upper bulb into being a Mars light, so it's ready to go as well. And push it back in there so it'll fit in the shell. And so I think we'll fix the shell first, and then do some wire management. Hang tight. I've got to fix that fan. This thing came here loose. There's some grab irons, handrails that are loose. I've got the etched metal vent to put on. I got the door to put on, and I got the front to put together. All right. So all those things, and we'll finish her up. Hang tight. So another successful decoder install, a Tsunami 2 GM EMD number 1, and with the dual 567 prime movers. So with that, I want to thank you for joining us here at the Retirement Railroad 2.0 Workbench Wednesday, episode 57. I'm Steve, and y'all have a great day. Bye now.